What is good, my pack? How's everybody doing out there? So I'm here because today I'm here to deliver the answers that you want to hear. So a while back I posted on the community feed on my channel, basically saying in a sense that, one thing I get a lot of questions during whenever I do my live streaming Q&As is what's it like living in New York, or what are the habits I like, things like that. What's the weather, blah blah blah, all this stuff. I get that a lot, and I started to think to myself, you know what? Let me open that floodgate a little bit and give you guys 3 questions to ask me about my life in New York, in a sense. And so that's what I did. So I opened it and I posted this post 4 days ago, and I told you guys 3 questions for everybody. And you know what? Looking at the post, I got about 12 people commenting. 12 people wrote questions, which in total equals 36 questions. Okay, so there's 36 questions for each. And I appreciate everybody who came out and participated. So let me refresh the comments. And I think we're going to we're going to keep it going. We're going to pretty much keep it. Yeah, we'll keep it this way. We'll go from the comments who are the oldest comments to the newest. Because the last time I checked, I got a notification there were a couple more comments. So thanks again. I'm going to answer these questions to the best of my ability, guys. So let me give you a little bit of a rundown real quick on in terms of everything. So how long I've been in New York. That's the first thing. Okay, so let's just do this. March 24th, 1982, I was born in Landstuhl, Germany. Stayed there for about 2 years, left Germany, moved to California, Monterey, lived there for 3 years, came to New York in 1987, I believe. Correct me, that could be. Lived in Yonkers, New York. From Yonkers, New York, moved to Mount Vernon. From Mount Vernon, left Mount Vernon for a while and lived in other cities in Westchester County before returning back to Mount Vernon fully time. So basically, in a sense, I've been in New York, like I said, 87. You do the math, over 30 years. But one of the things, my pack, you guys seem to always think is that I live in the city. I live in Manhattan. I live in one of the 5 boroughs of New York. No, I live outside of the boroughs. I live outside of the 5 boroughs. I live in Mount Vernon, which is part of Westchester County, which is not too far from the Bronx, the first borough in New York. So yeah, that's a little heads up right there. But yes, I have experienced this, and I have lived here a long time, and I do love it. And you're just gonna see a little bit of that. So we're gonna get to these questions. Okay. So once again, thank you for the questions. So the first 3 sets of questions come from Duke Lawton dash 1981. Okay. So the first question is, have you been to the 9/11 Memorial? I have been to the 9/11 Memorial. It is a surreal place to go. When you go down there and look at the memorial where the old towers used to be, because a lot of people who don't live in New York, and so they think the Freedom Plaza is built over the old place where the towers used to be. No, it's pushed back, and the memorial is the tower. It's like water. You see the water go through it, and it's all these names and all the people who died. And I'll tell you right now, you walk on that piece of land down there, you feel the pain, you feel everything at a point where you just start crying for no reason. You don't even know why. I tell you, when I went down there, I just cried. I don't know why I was crying, but like I didn't feel. I felt emotional, but I didn't feel emotional to the point where I was gonna cry. But it did. It happened. But I have been down there, and it's a very surreal place. Number two, what's your favorite borough in New York? See, okay, here we go. Okay, so there are 5 boroughs in New York: the Bronx, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, Shaolin, or Staten Island for non-New Yorkers. My favorite borough, I'm gonna probably have to say the Bronx. I have a lot of family that lives in the Bronx more than any other borough. Also, it's not the Bronx, Brooklyn. I have a lot of family live in Brooklyn. So yeah, it's either Bronx or Brooklyn. There you go. Your last question, Duke, is what are all the professional New York teams? Okay. Well, okay, baseball. We got the Bronx Bombers, the New York Yankees, Mets. We have NFL. We have the Giants, Jets, Buffalo. Yes, Buffalo Bills is New York. That's New York, people. And they're the only true New York official NFL team. Then we have the Knicks. We have the Brooklyn. I'm forgetting Brooklyn's name. Shoot, right off the top. Brooklyn Nets, excuse me. And then we have the Liberty. That's the WNBA team. And then we have I forgot the Major League Soccer team's name. I'm forgetting them. Rangers, Islanders, and this is NHL. So yeah, those are about pretty much all of them. Two of the professionals, though. That's it. Let's move on. Galactus Girl. Do you visit the Bronx Zoo? Yes, I do visit the Bronx Zoo. I do love the Bronx Zoo. I haven't been there in a long time though. I haven't been there in a while. It used to be free on Wednesdays. I don't know if it's still free anymore. But as a kid, I used to go there a lot. My dad used to take me, myself, and my cousins there a lot. The Bronx Zoo is a great zoo. It's also a conservation. So they don't keep the animals. They do conservate them to release the animals back into the wilds, especially the ones that should be, not the ones that have been born in captivity. It's huge. It's actually really big. It's large. Like if you look on the map, you could see just how much the zoo covers the Bronx. One of my favorite places to go was the reptile house. That was where you get to see all the reptiles, and there used to be a cool exhibit where up top, like on top, there was like this log, and inside the log there's this big boa, and it looked like there's no glass, but there is glass. It was really cool. I used to ride the monorail, so you can see all the different animals from a high above, like the tigers and things like that. But yeah, I've been to the Bronx Zoo. I do like the Bronx Zoo. I go to the Bronx Zoo more than I go to the Central Park Zoo. So yeah. What's your favorite? I just talked about my favorite exhibit. There was the reptile house. I love that. And your third question, you gave me 4. You was only supposed to give me 3. What's your favorite shopping? Oh, you know what? Let's do that. Okay. Name the best shops for geeks and nerds to visit. One place right off the bat. You ever come to New York? You go to Midtown Comics, my comic spot. That's for geeks and nerds and blurs and everybody. Our community, New York Comic Con. They have three to four locations in three in Manhattan. The original store on Times Square. Then you have one near Grand Central Station, and then you have one in downtown, and then you have another one. I believe it's out in Long Island City, I believe. But yeah, that's definitely a place to go. Thank you for the questions. All right, next up we have Samurai Rahim. That is a cool name, dude. I like that. What do you like the most about living in New York? That's a good question. The people, the diversity of New York in general. New York has a little bit of everything. They have a little bit of everything you want. You want to mix it up with Japanese, Chinese, Thai, Tibetan. You'll find it. Almost every Latin culture you can find in New York, especially Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Hondurans, you name it, all there. Blacks. You want some Irish? You want to go to an official Irish pub? Yeah, it's in there. Scots, they're there. It's just Indian. It's just so diverse. It is. That's one of the things I do love about it. Number two, do you recommend people moving to New York? If you have a job that's here, yes. Do I recommend people moving without that? Yeah, to a degree, but you need to research and understand what you're getting yourself into, especially if you're going to live in the city. That's where I will always kind of say, not living in the city is not the right move, because that's where it gets a little crazy with the rent. Rent in Manhattan alone is super high, and you're starting to see a lot of people rent out these crazy small apartments, like they don't fit anything in the apartment really. It's like a box apartment, like you would find like a storage. They're like the size of a storage facility. Storage. It's just crazy. And that's my biggest fear sometimes with New York, is that it's becoming, especially in Manhattan, it is becoming what you see in those futuristic movies, or like that the Vin Diesel Michelle Yeoh movie Babylon AD. In that movie, like it was, Manhattan was just almost for the super rich. That's what it's becoming, and it scares me. That really scares me a lot. So if you do, I do recommend try not to live in the city. Outside of the city will work, anything like that. Number three, where do you get the best pizza in New York? Brooklyn. I mean, every borough, even outside of the boroughs. I live, for example, pizza. I live right around the corner from one of the oldest pizzerias in Mount Vernon. It's called Johnny's Pizza. They've been around for 50 years. They're right around the corner from me. It's authentic Italian pizza. You can't use credit cards or anything like that. It's only cash. They don't sell slices. It's that, but in terms of boroughs, I will say Brooklyn holds it down. They have they're one of the oldest and longest. For example, the movie with John Travolta, Saturday Night Fever. Where do you think he was when he was eating that pizza? He was in Brooklyn, and that pizzeria just recently closed down. They sold their last slices not too long ago. Before they closed, the family said they were closing down. I'm forgetting the name of it right now, but yeah, it has happened. It is But pizza, you can find good pizza anywhere in New York. But the ones that you definitely go to is those old school mom and pop generational pizzerias that that's been passed down, or you literally see the owner working the dough back to he's doing or she's doing that stuff, and he has help, but you see him constantly. That's the pizza that you go to. But yes, we New Yorkers love our pizza. I'm not even gonna say that. All right. Let's see. Next question comes from Queen Kira Shihan. As a native Irish girl, is there a huge population of Irish in New York? Yes and no. In terms of like, I believe Boston beats us out. I think Boston has more Irish Americans than New York. But New York, New York does have its fair share of Irish. I think we're like third or second, but Boston beats us out. There's a huge population. I do recommend anybody who wants to follow their Irish roots, come to New York. Yeah, you'll find some stuff. I keep forgetting, Kira, you're actually from Ireland, and I'm always respecting that, finding that I have pack members from other countries. That always just humbles me very much. Number 2, is Rockefeller Center as beautiful as it was in Home Alone 2? Yes, it is. When that Christmas tree is up, yes, Rockefeller Center is a very beautiful place. I took a couple of years ago, I had a friend who from Vegas came to New York. She was doing something with her job, and we met up. She texted me and said, "Hey, I'm in New York. You want to come out and hang out for a while?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." We went out, and my friend Malika, that was her name. We walked around, and I took her to Rockefeller Center, and this was during Christmas, so she got to see. I took her to Radio City Music Hall. We passed where they shoot the Tonight Show, all that stuff. Yeah. So yeah, it is very beautiful. It is very much like you see in that movie. Number 3, is Central Park as dangerous as I've read? That's debatable on how you look at it in terms of what. Because most people say, well, it's not really safe to be in that park at night. And then some people, and that's pretty much it. But during the day, Central Park is a beautiful place to be. That park is huge. It is a huge piece of land that goes from Upper Manhattan down to Lower Manhattan. Starts at 110th and works its way down. So they're just everywhere. It's so I can't really say it's dangerous, depending on how you look at it. At night, is it safe to be out walking that park at night? Not really. Let's see. All right, like I said, Liza, you gave me 5 questions. I only said 3, so I got to skip most of these questions. All right, the next ones come from the Yin and Yang Lad. Is it true the city Is it true the city? Is it true? Yeah, excuse me. Is it truly the city that never sleeps? Is that a true statement? Yes, that is a true statement. New York City definitely is open 24/7. There are 24/7 places that are just open all the time. That's why some people say that's one of the things that living in the city is better than living, let's say, further up north, because everything's still open down there. So yes, that is true. Where you live, how far are you from Yankee Stadium? Probably like 12.2 miles. But that's without traffic. But for most people who Yankee Stadium, you just take the train. You take the four. You get on wherever and you take the 4 train going uptown, and Yankee Stadium's right there. Once you're on the train, you can see it. You see Yankee Stadium right to the left. You'll see the old stadium and the new stadium because there's 2 new stadiums. There's two stadiums. I think it's still. I'm not sure. Next question is, outside of pizza, what else is New York famous for? We are also famous for chopped cheese sandwich, which is delish. We're also famous for bagels with lox and salmon. We're also famous for cheesecake. That's why New York cheesecake. Yeah, and we're also famous for pastrami sandwiches. And so there are a lot of places, especially in the city, that sell great pastrami. One of them that I usually go to all the time, and it's kind of famous, is Katz's Deli. Trust me when I tell you, it is worth the money. What you are getting, what you're spending there. I tell you right now, you go there on a full stomach. My brother and I, a friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours, came from Indiana, and we took him out to Katz's Deli, and he loved it. I was glad that he enjoyed it. Shouts out to Kyle. I'm glad he enjoyed it, and I'm glad he had a fun time. It was great to do that. I love Katz's Deli. You know, you get one of them pastrami sandwiches, and it's just great. So yeah, those are definitely other foods that are pretty much there. I'm talking about like what you're known for. So that was all the questions from Yin and Yang Lad. Next up, we go to is Daryl Brown the third. Being from LA, being from LA with crazy traffic, how do most New Yorkers get around? In terms of the city, it's really not wise to drive in the city. It really is not. Traffic is a bitch when you're down there. So you just get around doing the subway. Either the subway, that's the underground trains, or you can somewhat do the Metro North, which is another train system line. But the problem with that is that only takes you so far. The last stop is Grand Central Station. Have you ever been to Coney Island? Yes, I have. I've been to Coney Island. I've been to Coney Island once. I haven't been there in a long time, and it's got the carnival there, and that's where the Nathan's hot dog eating competition is held there. So yeah, Coney Island. And of course, it's the home turf of the Warriors. I'm just saying. What else? Your next one. Why do the Giants and Jets call each other New York, but they play in Jersey? Laughing out loud. I don't know. I mean, Giants used to play in New York, but it is weird that they both play in Jersey, and none of them have even become Jersey. My brother and I say it all the time. One of them needs to. Like we always say, the Jets should come the New Jersey Jets. And you keep the Giants, New York Giants. But with that being said, Darius, once again, the only New York NFL team that plays in New York is Buffalo Bills. Just saying. Brandon, the groovy nerd, asks, have you ever been to Niagara Falls in New York, on the New York side? No, I have not. I've never been to Niagara Falls, because you got the Canadian side of Niagara Falls, and you got the American side, which is part of New York. So no, I have not. All right. First question from Brandon. He says, "Have you been? Oh no. How far have you? How far are you from the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown?" Um, about 3 hours. 3 hours from Cooperstown. So yeah, about 3 hours. Is MSG truly the most famous arena in the world? Yes, that is. Madison Square Garden is the most famous. There's a reason for why it is called the most famous arena, because it has held the some of the most greatest highlights in any events, you name it. From many of Ali's fights, uh, concerts, you name it. Yes, it is. Madison Square Garden is the most famous arena. Thank you for the questions, Brandon. Next up, Son of Light VX. Outside of New York City, where would you recommend people to go in New York? So outside of New York, I would definitely tell people to go to northern New York, or go to go to Lake George and the Adirondack Mountains. It's a great tourist attraction. Lake Champlain. Here, yeah, I tell people to come through Mount Vernon. It's kind of got a little history. All the cities on near the Hudson River, so all those cities going up, Terrytown, you name it. Those are great to see. So yeah, there are other places outside of the five boroughs I would tell people to go. Remember Showtime at the Apollo? Yes, I do. We used to love that show. Do they still do it? Yes, I believe they still do. I had to look this up. They still do amateur hour at the Apollo. I think tomorrow they're doing amateur hour tomorrow. But yes, yeah, the Apollo still, which is in Harlem. That's Upper Manhattan. Yes, the Apollo still does amateur hour, but it's not televised, that I don't think of. So no. But yeah, I remember it's showtime at the Apollo. Yeah, that was good stuff right there. And your next question is keeping it going. And should the Apollo Theater be a national landmark? That's funny that you say that. But yes, the Apollo is. I believe it got that status a while ago. As a national landmark in Manhattan, as a national landmark of New York. It is one of the oldest still active theaters in New York. So yes, it does get its credit, and I love that. It's funny, and I've said this before. That was one of the things I wish they had in the Spider-Man game, because you can go into Harlem, but you don't see. You don't see the Apollo Theater, which and I know they said that they couldn't get everything due to license or something like that, but yeah, I wish though. But yes, the Apollo Theater, if nobody knows what the Apollo Theater is, look it up. A lot of greats got their start there. And they still do amateur night there for comedians and stuff, so yes. Tim Dragon 85. How many times have you been to the Empire State Building? Twice. Best number 2. Best rapper from New York. Oh fuck. Oh Jesus. This is hard because there's so many greats that come from New York. And I can go and say Run DMC, I can say LL, Cool J, I can say Rakim, which I would put up there, I can say Big Daddy Kane, I can say Busta Rhymes, I can say Jada Kiss, you name it. I guess there's so many there's so many great rappers from NY. It's hard to say. Number 3, is there really a Hell's Kitchen like in the Daredevils comics? Yes, Hell's Kitchen is real. It is real, but it is not as big as they display it in the comics. It's only 2 blocks. It's only 2 blocks, and it's right across from the Port Authority. So it's only 2 blocks. It's just a neighborhood, but it's two blocks. It's not that big. Next up, we have Ego Shadow 9224. What are some of the most famous cryptics of New York? Oh boy. We don't have that many cryptics. Probably the most famous is Champ from Lake Champlain. It's supposed to be like our version of the Loch Ness Monster. The difference is Champ has a huge neck. He's more neck than anything, unlike Nessie. So, yeah, that's about it. We do have some form of Grassman. A lot of that stuff is more northern New York. It's more north than anything. Number 2, is Sleepy Hollow a real town in New York? Yes, Sleepy Hollow. Sleepy Hollow is on the west side. Yeah, around the west, near the central west of Manhattan, of New York. Right on those, it's a part of the coastal cities you can see that are on the Hudson River. Yeah, it is real. It is a real city. So whatever you've seen, like from the Ichabod Crane and the Headless Horseman, or of course the Sleepy Hollow with Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci, all that stuff. Yes, it is a real city, and I have been there plenty of times. And they really do things cool for Halloween. Like they do a pumpkin patch ride. There's a guy that will dress up as the Headless Horseman and ride around the town. And their high school has a statue of the Headless Horseman right there. So yes, it is it's not made up. It's real. I live about maybe about less than an hour or less. Hey Google, how far is Sleepy Hollow from Mount Vernon?
It's 15.6 miles to get to Sleepy Hollow from Mount Vernon by car.
There you go. 15. Well, it's 15 miles away, basically. So yeah. So yes, there is a real Sleepy Hollow, guys. And your last question is, what are some things about where you live? Mount Vernon? Well, Mount Vernon is 4 square miles. It's very small. You can walk across it less than a few hours. It was going to be officially a part of the New York. It would have been the 6th borough, but that was back in the 1800s. So those are certain things. Denzel Washington is from here. There's a lot of talent that came from here. So yes, those are some of the things about where I'm from, where I live, Mount Vernon. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's the ego. Yes, that's all. Thank you for that. Moving on to Solomon the Hooded 71. What's one thing we New Yorkers have that no one else truly has, in your opinion? Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting, Solomon. You're a native New Yorker. Something that we have that nobody. I would say somewhat the street smarts. I say the street smarts, definitely. You could be educated, but if you got the street smarts too, you're good. I would definitely say that. Your next questions are 10 favorite movies filmed in New York. Uh, well, the Ghostbusters, Home Alone 2, um, Spider Man. Spider Man. Yeah, those Spider Man is filmed in New York as well. Um, um, Scream. Well, some of it wasn't, but not all of it. No, I guess you're meaning fully in. So I'll leave that out. Uh, The Exorcist. I think you could put that up there. Did I say Ghostbusters? I probably did say Ghostbusters. Um, the Bourne Ultimatum. That definitely was up there. So those are a few. What else did you say? You said something else. Favorite actors from New York. All right, so actors that are from New York that I love. Well, of course, Denzel. Denzel's up there. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. Um, uh, Keith David. Yeah, the voice of Goliath. Yeah, he's from Harlem. Um, uh, I get. Well, yeah, I can say LL. LL's from uh, uh, Omar Epps, the Waynes. You know the Wayne family. They're from New York. So yeah, there's a lot of people that I could say definitely. Those are fun. All right, and I think that's no. I know there's one more, and I saw a new one. Yes, here it is. Blue Guardian 6216 asks, have you ever celebrated New Year's in Times Square? No, I have not. I always feel like, do I really need to go down there to celebrate New Year's? And it just looks swamped, and I don't like that. I'm like, never mind. Was Jason Takes Manhattan filmed in Manhattan? No, it wasn't. Only one scene was filmed in Manhattan, and it's simple. When you see Jason standing and they spin around and he's in Times Square, that is it. Outside of that film, it was not filmed in Manhattan. Have you ever imagined while you're in Manhattan seeing Marvel heroes like Spider-Man swing through the city? Um, yes, I have. I have. Anytime I'm in the city and I do look up at the building, I imagine seeing Spider-Man swinging across the buildings or something like that. Yes, I do. And it's not just Spider-Man. I imagine seeing Fantastic Four and the Avengers and you know Daredevil and people like that. I do. I really do. I'm weird like that. I am, but I do think that way. I do. It's weird. So yes. So yeah, I do. I do think that. Well, guys, I want to say thank you all for the questions. I hope I answered much to your belief and understanding. This was fun. But yeah, I know a lot of you guys, you ask me like these questions about living in New York and things like that. I've gotten questions like, if I couldn't live in New York, what other state would I live in? I gave that. I said probably Pennsylvania to a degree. I said Philly. I did say that. Or just near family. That's the thing. But yes, thank you for that. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. As always, deuces.